Good morning. Like many of you, I shop at the grocery store. And lately, we've all experienced some sticker shock when we get to the register checking out for our groceries. Inflation has been a problem for at least the last 4 years, especially since the pandemic. Inflation at 3.5% squeezes margins, and how small businesses cope with this is interesting. 40% raise prices, 25% cut staff. Small business administration loans are up 15%, so companies are taking on more debt. But still, closures have risen over 10%. This economic environment is a result of rampant money printing in Washington, D.C. 80% of the dollars in existence today have been printed in the last 4 years. 80%, which has caused inflation to skyrocket as global money supply has risen astronomically. And let me be clear, it is not just a United States problem. We are seeing this collapse of the modern monetary system across all nations, with nations like Turkey and Venezuela showing record double-digit inflation year after year. Inflation causes people's wages not to keep up with the price of their goods. Even the Fed's arbitrary 2% number. Why do they want inflation at 2%? Well, if anybody in here is French, you know that how to boil a frog. And the way you boil a frog is you put them in cold water first, and then you slowly increase it. In fact, the studies show that as long as you don't raise it more than 2 degrees a minute, the frog will not jump out. Well, that is what is happening, and what has happened to all Americans over the last 40 years since 1973. Inflation has boiled Americans alive. No longer does the American dream mean that you do better than the generation before you, as that ended in 1973. The sons and daughters are not doing better than their parents. Millennials are not doing better than the boomers. And Gen Z is not doing better than Gen X. The American dream has died. And it has died because of inflation. When we went off the gold standard in 1973, there was no end to the amount of money printing the government can do. We ran large deficits to fund wars in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. And this money, these deficits, right, made the money supply increase. When the money supply increases, that causes inflation. One way small businesses are coping and can cope is to buy Bitcoin, opt out of the inflation. Bitcoin has a limited exponential decaying supply curve. This allows companies not to have a cash pile of melting ice cubes that gets smaller and smaller every year in their purchasing power with their ability to buy goods and service. But it allows companies, right, to increase, to be internal for that ice cube to actually generate more ice. Bitcoin's relationship with the purchasing power is unlike that of the dollar. It is more like that of gold. But as we know, gold does not have a fixed supply. As we continue to get better at mining and refining it, some say we might even find gold on asteroids and send them to different planets and mine them there. Bitcoin is an incorruptible ledger where you do not need faith in the other party, and we can exchange stores of value that way. Companies are finding out that if they put their assets in Bitcoin, their company will last, because Bitcoin's value does not inflate away like the American dollar, like assets denoted in the American dollar. Even your real estate, which is seen as a great investment, your house is a depreciating wooden box. The increase in value that you are seeing is not that house becoming more valuable, but your currency becoming more worthless. Right? The amount of infrastructure to build the house, right, is going to cost more, so the house becomes more in value, and it is just a result of inflation. Companies can beat the inflation by buying Bitcoin. In fact, companies already have. MicroStrategy, now known as Strategy, on the S&P 500 is the best performing stock of the last 4 years, even better than NVIDIA. All they do is buy Bitcoin. GameStop just announced yesterday that they are going to add Bitcoin to the reserve treasury, and they are up 15% today on the news. Opting out of the excessive government spending that causes inflation is the only solution. Bitcoin is the best way we have right now to opt out of that. So when I was posed with how can small businesses cope with persistent inflation, I think the answer is simple. Buy Bitcoin. Thank you.
8 seconds left.